Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So, let's talk about a feeling we all experience at one point or another, when you feel like doing absolutely nothing. Whether it's from burnout, lack of motivation, or just feeling unproductive, we've all been there. You know those days when it feels like your brain just can't function? Like, no matter how much you try, you can't push yourself to do anything. Today, I want to dive deep into this feeling, why it happens, and most importantly, what you can do when you feel like doing nothing. If you're feeling unmotivated, burnt out, or just plain stuck, this video is for you. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about why this happens. Sometimes, it feels like we're running on autopilot. We go through our daily routines, juggling work, personal life, and all the responsibilities in between. Eventually, we hit a wall. Burnout is one of the most common reasons why you feel like doing nothing. It's not just about being physically tired, it's emotional, mental, and even spiritual exhaustion. When you're burnt out, even simple tasks can feel overwhelming. It's important to recognize that burnout doesn't mean you're weak or lazy. In fact, it often happens to people who push themselves too hard for too long without taking breaks. But burnout isn't the only reason. Sometimes, it's just a lack of motivation. Motivation is tricky. It's not something we always have, sometimes it just disappears. Whether it's because we're not excited about the task ahead, or maybe we're overwhelmed by a huge to-do list, motivation can feel impossible to find. So, what can we do about it? First, let's focus on the mind. To overcome this feeling, we need to understand that motivation isn't always going to be there, and that's okay. We're going to get into some actionable steps in just a minute. The very first step in getting out of this rut is to acknowledge how you feel without judgment. It sounds simple, but so often, when we feel unproductive or lazy, we beat ourselves up for it. We think things like, I should be doing more, or I'm wasting time. This kind of negative self-talk only makes the problem worse. The truth is, it's okay to have off days. You don't have to be productive 24/7. Accepting how you feel is the first step to moving forward. One thing that helps me is journaling. Write down exactly how you're feeling. Are you overwhelmed? Exhausted? Lost? Just write it out. Once it's on paper, it feels more manageable. Next up, baby steps. When you're feeling unmotivated, big tasks can feel impossible. So, instead of focusing on the big picture, break things down into tiny, manageable steps. Like, really small steps. Let's say you've got an essay to write or a project for work. The thought of tackling the entire thing can be paralyzing, right? So, instead of thinking about the whole project, focus on the tiniest part you can do. Maybe it's just writing the first sentence, or opening the document and writing the title. Once you start, even if it's small, you build momentum, and that momentum can carry you forward. Okay, now this step is super important, rest. So many of us push ourselves to the brink of exhaustion because we think we have to be productive all the time. But here's the thing, rest is productive too. You can't pour from an empty cup. When you're feeling unmotivated or burnt out, that's your body and mind telling you that you need to slow down. Give yourself permission to rest. Whether it's a nap, taking a bath, reading a book, or even just watching your favorite show, take time to recharge. Self-care looks different for everyone. Maybe for you, it's a quiet walk in nature, or maybe it's treating yourself to your favorite snack. Self-care looks different for everyone. Maybe for you, it's a quiet walk in nature, or maybe it's treating yourself to your favorite snack. Whatever makes you feel refreshed, make it a priority. When you give yourself time to rest, you're actually setting yourself up to be more productive in the long run. Another quick tip is to change your environment. Sometimes, the space around us can contribute to that feeling of being stuck or unmotivated. If you've been sitting in the same place for hours, try moving to a different room, or even just rearranging your workspace. Even small changes, like opening a window, getting fresh air, or sitting by some natural light, can make a huge difference in your energy levels and mood. We live in a world that glorifies multitasking, but here's the truth: multitasking is often the enemy of productivity. When you're already feeling unmotivated, trying to do a million things at once can make things worse. Instead, focus on just one task at a time. Pick the most important thing you need to do, and put all your energy into that. Once it's done, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment, and you can move on to the next thing. It's amazing how much better you'll feel when you can cross one thing off your list, even if it's small. Now, let's talk about physical movement. I'm not saying you need to hit the gym for an intense workout, but when you're feeling unmotivated, a little movement can go a long way. Even just a quick walk around the block or stretching for a few minutes can release endorphins, which are those feel-good hormones your body craves. Sometimes, all your body needs is a little movement to shake off that sluggish feeling. It doesn't have to be anything intense. You can just put on some music and dance around your room, do some light stretches, or take a walk outside. Moving your body helps you reset your mind, and that little boost of energy might be enough to get you back on track. Sometimes, when we feel stuck or unmotivated, we isolate ourselves. But one of the best ways to get out of a rut is to talk to someone you trust. Whether it's a close friend, a family member, or even a therapist, sharing your feelings can help you feel lighter and give you a new perspective. Sometimes, just talking about what you're going through can remind you that you're not alone in feeling this way. Your friend or loved one might have some advice, or even just being heard can make a big difference. Don't underestimate the power of connection. We're social creatures, and talking to someone can lift that weight off your shoulders. Another thing we need to address is the pressure we put on ourselves. Often, we're unmotivated because we set unrealistically high expectations. We want to do it all, and when we can't, we feel like we've failed. Instead of expecting yourself to be productive all the time, set realistic goals. It's okay if you don't get everything done today. Break things down into what's achievable, and be kind to yourself if things don't go according to plan. Remember, perfection isn't the goal, progress is. Give yourself grace. You're doing the best you can, and that's enough. One of the most powerful tools to help with feelings of burnout and lack of motivation is mindfulness. When you're stuck in that feeling of, I should be doing more, your mind is either focused on the past or stressing about the future. Mindfulness helps bring you back to the present moment. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can simply take a few deep breaths, focusing on how your body feels in the moment. Or you can try guided meditation apps or even spend a few minutes noticing the sounds, sights, and sensations around you. Being present helps ground you, making it easier to tackle whatever comes next. When you're mindful, you're not judging yourself for what you haven't done, you're simply being. This can help reduce that overwhelming feeling and make it easier to take the next step forward. So, the next time you're feeling unmotivated, burnt out, or unproductive, remember, you don't have to tackle everything at once. It's okay to slow down, take small steps, and be kind to yourself. Acknowledge how you feel, take time to rest, and focus on progress, not perfection. Remember that it's totally normal to have days when you just don't feel like doing anything. What matters is how you respond to those feelings. By following these steps, you can start to regain control, little by little. Here's a quick recap of what we covered today. 1. Acknowledge how you feel without judgment. 2. Break tasks into baby steps. 3. Prioritize rest and self-care. 4. Change your environment. 5. Focus on one task at a time. 6. Move your body. 7. Set boundaries and say no when needed. 8. Connect with someone you trust. 9. Set realistic expectations. 10. Practice mindfulness. I hope these tips help you next time you feel stuck. Remember, you're not alone in this. We all have moments when we feel unmotivated, and that's okay. What matters is that you take care of yourself and keep moving forward, even if it's just one small step at a time. If this video was helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. Let me know in the comments, what do you do when you're feeling unmotivated? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.